Trigger warning. There's a Bible quote coming.
Yeah. We get a lot of comments. We love the comments. And this, and the questions you guys send in. Someone said, "But I say unto you, that whoever looketh at a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." So he felt like we were talking about us talking about it is wrong.
Okay, what was the video we were talking about?
We were talking about desire.
Okay.
And desiring people. And we had said in the video that, by the way, this is Reid from readaboutsex.com.
Cathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com. And again, like have we gotten Bible quotes before?
This is the first Bible quote.
This is the first Bible quote we've gotten. And again, like I said, trigger warning in a certain way, being funny, but if you really want to geek out on what a trigger warning is and why that's a serious thing, you will leave in the links, a link to a good definition for trigger warning. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but this is an interesting situation because we also have a lot of geeky people who follow us who are not into Bible quotes.
Right. Well, we're sex positive, and we talk, and people come here feeling like, oh, I can relax. This is a sex positive space.
And now we're throwing Bible quotes at
them. A judgmental Bible quote.
And we also have a lot of followers who are highly spiritual, highly religious, lots of different religions. And so I'm not saying no Bible quotes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is interesting that it's in the 400 and whatever videos we've done. This is the first time we've had somebody throw a Bible quote at us. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about the lust thing.
Yeah, so we talked in the video about desire and how it was okay to desire people. Mm-hmm. And desire is a fun thing, and we don't always have to act on it. Mm-hmm. But this person is saying that because if you even desire someone in your heart, you've already committed adultery. You've broken a commandment or an agreement. So I looked up the definition of lust because I'm geeky that way.
Okay.
So according to Merriam-Webster, lust is a strong feeling of sexual desire.
Okay.
So there are times I admit I have lusted after people in my life.
You had a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio on your computer a second ago.
Yes. According to the spam email that I'd gotten, it said that he was advocating a pill to enhance certain anatomical features.
While he was holding his Oscar, which is very subtle, by the way.
Yes, very subtle. So we, as humans, have feelings.
No, I just wonder if Leonardo DiCaprio is actually named his penis Oscar.
Oh, wow.
That would be awesome. I think I might have to do that. Or name my penis Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo, I apologize if you're watching.
He's friendly. Yeah.
Back to the Bible. So lust. Definition of lust.
Yeah. So I think that, so this is my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of religion has been geared towards shaming our sexuality. Mm-hmm. And making us feel ashamed and bad about ourselves and our feelings because it's a wonderful way to control humans. Mm-hmm. If I convince you that you're wrong and shameful, you're going to much more likely do whatever I say and give up your power and not speak up for yourself.
Sure. If you're spending all this time fighting your own urges and trying to control something that might be natural, like if we had made pooing a bad thing, like
there's a certain amount of shame associated with that.
Well, but I mean with fecal matter and stuff like that. But like, let's say that the Bible had a quote about "Thou shalt not poo."
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, I mean that would be really tricky, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I think that humans have sexual desires and we find people attractive, and even if we're in a committed monogamous relationship or we've agreed not to act on it, there's courts do not have you legally you're not liable for any wrongdoing. If you have thoughts or feelings. Mm-hmm. We can control our thoughts to a certain extent. We don't necessarily control how we feel about things. Mm-hmm. Some of that's just who we are. So to be ashamed of having feelings or sexual desire towards someone, I think that's actually what Reid and I do the most. We're trying to counter that, to let people embrace their sexuality and make conscious choices about how they act on them.
Yeah, and in certain situations, your feelings and thoughts can be kind of creepy. Mm-hmm. So what I would, just reframing this and kind of like jujitsuing the Bible quote, right? If this whole thing's predicated, and there are people much smarter than me who I learned this stuff from, too many for me to accredit, but the idea of, one, like the thought of like religion as a means of controlling, and the easiest way to control people is to get them to mistrust their bodies and to feel ashamed of their desires, right? But the other situation around lust and that you will not be able to control your sexuality, that your sexuality is so powerful or so sinful as to not be able to be controlled. Now we can talk about teenagers and not having fully formed prefrontal cortex, and so like trying to navigate the world as you're in a hormone bath of, going through puberty and not having any impulse control. We can talk about how, for teenagers, they can't control themselves. But let's just say, hey, as adults, people over 22, 24, where you have prefrontal cortex fully formed, for most people that means you have impulse control in a way you never had it before. Let's say that adults can control themselves. Mm-hmm. And that when you can control yourself around sexuality, then you can enjoy lustful thinking, and it's not going to turn you into some sociopath. Mm-hmm. From that perspective, which is a perspective we do not talk about in culture, and the Bible doesn't say, oh, hey, by the time you're like 25, go for it. Take all those lustful thoughts that you have for Leonardo DiCaprio and his Oscar, and then bring it home to your wife. We don't talk about it like that. Yeah. And so everything gets just whitewashed or painted over with all the shame. Mm-hmm. And then people don't have self-expression. They think they're broken. Then things just get weird.
Yeah. I think a lot of the fear around sexuality comes if we repress it really hard. It does spurt out sometimes in weird ways. Versus, okay, everybody has feelings like this. We can normalize it. It doesn't have to be so scary. I can, I don't have to like build up all this pressure.
We can teach people how to have fully formed, nuanced, delicious fantasy lives that don't pull them out of reality, but allow them to use their fantasy and their desire to add creativity into their world, like letting your own fantasies not be something that you fear, but something that you embrace in a way where you use them to feel your own creativity and passion. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk about that either, in some ways, because if you're even thinking about someone else or something else, you've committed adultery. It's a sin. Yeah. And so how would we have these tools? Mm-hmm. And hopefully our work and the work of our peers is opening things up for people where they can be like, oh my God, like I have this fantasy and I love you, but it's about pirates and you're not one of the pirates.
Honey, here's an eye patch. Would you wear it tonight?
And would you call me Leonardo? Leave a comment below. And thanks for the Bible quote too. That was actually pretty awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...